thank you everyone who is on with us right now. We are so excited for this webinar today. We've been talking about it all week long. Super excited to share this info with you. A couple quick housekeeping things before we jump into it. We should have the chat enabled for any comments or anything that you guys have during the presentation. But if you have any questions, please throw them into the Q&A section, and we'll have a whole Q&A afterwards where we'll cover everything. If the chat is not enabled for any reason or you're having issues with it, please just throw that also into the Q&A and I'll make sure that we get that squared away. And with that, we can get started with the Real Estate Investors Productivity Stack with our own VP of Engineering, Tyler Olmsted, who is the person who we all can thank for developing our awesome backflip app. He is literally in the thick of it, and he knows tech like nobody else. So we are so grateful to have him take some time from his busy day to come and hang with us and talk us through how we can all be better real estate investors and more productive. So with that, Tyler, let's get into it.
Awesome, Sarah. Thank you. Yeah, great introduction. Definitely appreciate all the nice words there. Yeah, today we're going to talk a little bit about the Real Estate Investors Productivity Stack. As we get in here, quick agenda breakdown. We'll start with some introductions, and then we'll kind of jump into what that productivity stack is. We'll talk about why it's important, how it kind of fits into our business and daily workflow, and talk about some tools and products that can help work with us as we're thinking about what that productivity stack might be. And then we'll end today with a Q&A session. We can chat about any questions that might have come up during the presentation. Start with some introductions. So as Sarah said, my name is Tyler Olmsted. I'm the Vice President of Engineering here at Backflip. I've been working in prop tech for a little shy of 20 years. Been with Backflip since 2022. I've had the pleasure of seeing the real estate industry's relationship with technology evolve so rapidly over time. When I first got in to doing software for real estate, we were just figuring out how to put pins on a map that we could show properties in, and such a far cry where we are today. So I've really been instrumental in helping shape some of those things throughout my career, and worked with some really great companies and software tech that's helped move that needle for property tech industry. So what is the productivity stack? For any of you out there that might be self-optimization hawks, this term might be something you've heard before, but if you're not, it's the concept of finding tools within your daily workflow for your business and in your personal life that can help maximize your output. And when we think about the productivity stack, we're thinking about different parts of our business and where we might introduce these tools to help reduce friction, to help maximize the time we spend, and ultimately to make better output. Today, we're going to talk about that concept as it relates to real estate investing. So we're going to think about what our real estate investing business looks like, how we can streamline a lot of that by thinking about tools as they support some of those parts of our business and how we can incorporate them into our everyday workflow. Now, when I think about the concept of a productivity stack for real estate investing, I really break it down to three main pillars. The first one is the property sourcing and analysis tools. This is really going to help us expand our investment horizon. We can really find and analyze potential deals, using some data there to have some comprehensive analysis in those tools and understanding things like the market and the property data, and ultimately informing our decision-making process with data. The more insights we have as we're trying to find and source these properties, the better we're going to do when we actually get those deals. Next, we'll talk a little bit about project management and how we can streamline parts of that process. We'll look at things like organizing our workflows, understanding how this is specific for real estate investing, and what we can do to foster more collaboration amongst our team members and stakeholders using these tools. And then finally, we'll talk about financing and reporting tracking. A lot of what we do during the day is making sure we're in budget, that we're spending the right amount of money, ultimately that our profit is maximized to what we want it to be, So we'll look at some tools that can help facilitate that part of the process and really get us to the best place that we can ultimately be with our real estate investments. So property sourcing and analysis, unveiling the hidden gems in the real estate market. This part is so important as we start to acquire those properties. As the saying goes, your deal is made on the acquisition. And we really want to find tools that help facilitate that for our business. So why is this so crucial when we're trying to find these great deals? Well, first, it helps expand our investment opportunities. The more that we're looking at different areas to actually source these properties, the wider net we're casting, and ultimately the better chance we have on finding that hidden gem in that deal. Finding tools that help us make these data-driven decisions, so we understand the analysis of the property, we understand the analysis of the market. This, again, is going to help us make sure that when we finally get that deal, it's the best one for us. Understanding the financial viability assessment. We need to understand the numbers first and foremost. The more we know about what our ARV is going to be, the more we understand about how that market's going to be when we want to sell our property, or what our rental market's going to look like as we hold that property, the better off we're going to be before that acquisition. And then finally, and you'll hear me say this a lot, but time and money. Time is the thing we don't get back. The more we can save of that by using things in our productivity stack, the better off we're going to be. So we really want to find tools that help us get to the place that we're saving time and money ultimately. So as we're thinking about property sourcing analysis, what are some key features from these tools? Well, first, I would call out off-market data. So much of what we do to find these deals happens outside MLS boards. Finding a tool that can look for off-market data and use that as we find some analysis is paramount to finding good deals. And the next one is the market analysis. I've mentioned it before, but we really want to find a place that we're understanding the property, but also what the market is like for that property. If we're looking to rent, we want to understand the rental market. If we're looking to fix and flip, we want to understand what that sale market looks like. And finding some tools to help that assessment is important. Next, we want to know much as we can about the investment analysis and the investment strategy. So as we look at things like what our ARV is going to be or what our rent is going to be, we want to make sure we have a tool that's tailored towards our use. If we're more fix and flippers, that's great. Find a tool that works well for fix and flipping. And on the other side of that, if we're looking to a BRRRR strategy, we like rent and hold properties, find something that's tailored for your strategy to help get you the information as quickly as possible. Customizations. A lot of times tools will come in and show some information up front, but the ability to take a deeper dive and understand more about the properties and the market is going to be essential as we work through these tools, as well as a user-friendly interface. There's a saying in tech, which is simple is hard. This is something we think a lot about with the Backflip app, but the quicker we can get you to the right information, the easier it is to do that. The better tool this is going to be in your tool belt, and the more time it's ultimately going to save you. And then lastly, mobile accessibility. You'll hear me say this one a lot as well, but the tool should meet you where you work. And as real estate investors, we're out in the field all the time. So finding something that's mobile friendly that you can access in your pocket as you're on the go is a very important part of the future of your tool set for your productivity stack. So property sourcing and analysis, this is something Backflip does in folds. We think a lot about this part of the funnel and something we specialize in. We look at a lot of off-market data. We're always constantly widening our net with the data we can pull in. The more that we can understand about our properties, the more that we can bring in that data as part of our tool set, the better offering we end up getting, as well as that market assessment. Something that we spend a lot of time thinking about is our comps tool. As we think about comping our properties, we think about it a little bit differently than a typical real estate agent might. When you're working with a real estate agent, they're probably going to look at a property's assessment to understand what it might sell or buy for at that time. In our comp tool, we think a lot about potential properties, and the comps that we pull in and try to identify are around this concept. So we look for updated properties that have been sold recently, new interior, new exterior. This helps us drive to our ultimate numbers for how we do our investment analysis and find those ARV numbers back for you, as well as give you a lot of flexibility for how you can manage those comps and update parts of the deal as well. top of that, we have a lot of innovative financing products inside of the app. So as you're looking to get money lending, we're a great opportunity for that as well. I mentioned mobile accessibility and user-friendly interface. This is something we think a lot about at Backflip. We try to make it very simple, very approachable, easy to use, and of course, mobile friendly. Today we focus a lot on our mobile apps, certainly have a web presence, but we know we want to meet the business where it is. And that really is targeting that mobile. As I think about things outside the MLS, auction.com is a great resource. MLSs are great for properties, but oftentimes we can get the bidding wars there, and it's harder to get those deal numbers to where we want to be. Auction.com has a variety of off-market listings like foreclosure, bank-owned properties, short sales, investment properties. You can really do a lot to research by location or property type or price range. And they give you a lot of detailed information about each listing. You can see photos, conditions of the property, title information. And as you're thinking about these properties that aren't on the MLS and better opportunities, especially as we think about rehabbing things, auction.com has a lot of great information and really easy to use and jump into. A few other call outs here as we think about property sourcing information. Deal Machine. Deal Machine has a lot of great features, but something I like the most is they have a direct to wholesaler place where they connect investors with off-market listings directly from wholesalers. Right from there, you can view some of the properties that are in there. You can connect and inquire about these specific properties directly with the wholesalers. On the other side of it is the concept of fractional ownership. Company called Arrive.com, which is a Jeff Bezos backed company, has really thought about this in a unique way. And they enable fractional ownership of rental properties, and they allow investors to diversify a lot of what you're doing in your portfolio with smaller investments that are spread out and really reduce the amount of risk you can have through properties. So if something like this would interest you, it's lower stakes, lower hands-on, while still being able to get into the concept of investment properties. Arrive could be a great opportunity. On the commercial side of things, a few interesting call outs I'll have. To start with, LoopNet is a great place to find information on any commercial properties that you might be interested in, like office buildings, retail space, warehouses. They have a great inventory as we think about commercial. CompStark is a commercial real estate platform that provides a lot of access to lease comps, sales comps, property valuations. And so as you're thinking about looking at those, this can be great when you're assessing commercial properties and trying to understand the finances and the math a little bit better. And CompStark is another great tool that helps looking at some of the analysis for those commercial properties and gives a great background tax history on what the commercial listings have actually done. I would be remiss if I did not mention that downloading the Backflip app today, you have a chance to win $100 off your next loan. Keep this up for a brief moment, but we'll also send some post materials out after this that will include this QR code as well. Next, let's talk a little bit about property management and collaboration. An effective way that we can source and analyze properties is the cornerstone of what we're doing, but identifying how we manage those and how we understand the projects coming through and make our money is going to be a huge part of how we understand our bottom line. So why is this such a crucial part of our productivity stack? Well, to start with, real estate investments are complex. They involve a lot of stakeholders, and at times software can help keep all the investors, the stakeholders, deadlines, the dependencies we have, what the project tasks look like, all together in one place that's easily visualized and helps us streamline what that project might look like. Real estate investments are often time sensitive. There's tight budgets. And if we're using project management software like this helps us keep on track of what those budgets are, what the delivery looks like. And so we can have everyone visibility into what that project looks like from the stakeholders, to yourself running your business. Oftentimes we have multiple contractors, multiple team members, subcontractors working on these projects. This can get really complicated. And if we don't have something that's helping us manage and track these things and coordinate all the parties together, this can get overwhelming pretty quickly. So finding the right tool to help manage that can be very helpful. And then finally, the concept of communicating effectively with everyone on the team. Finding something where you can collaborate with your team members, with the stakeholders. This is going to be really important as we think about these project management softwares as well. So what are some key features that we want to think about when we're deciding a tool? Well, first of all, is task management. A big portion of what we do is just creating tasks and managing them. Something that's got a good user interface that's easy to understand will go a long way. Something that's going to be unique for real estate investment is bid management. There's some really interesting tools out there that offer a way to track some bid management you might have from different contractors when you're looking at projects. On that same side, project scheduling. And a lot of these are, again, specific for real estate investors. They'll help you manage different projects that you might have going on at the same time, help with scheduling, and getting all the support from your team you might need. Constructing accounting. A lot of what we do is have to track materials, understand what construction budgets and timelines might look like. Great feature to have inside of our tools here. Talked about it before, but team collaboration. The more stakeholders we can involve, the better. And also job site management, to understand what's happening on each job site from a schedule, from a materials standpoint. Good features to have inside there. As well as the ease of use and customer support. These particular softwares can get complicated, and as simple as they try to make them, having a good way to reach out to the company to understand questions or concerns you might have could be important as you're trying to decide these. Co-Construct. Co-Construct is a cloud-based project management software that's designed for construction in the real estate industry. It helps streamline a lot of the management, communication, and collaboration, and really enables us as investors to effectively manage the project from start to finish. It is a pretty comprehensive place that you can just set up the project management, real-time collaboration inside there. One of my favorite features is they have a customizable dashboard. So as some of these features become more or less important to you, you can really dial your dashboard in to show you exactly what you're looking for. Things like the budget management, project process, key metrics that you've set up for yourself in there, and just real-time insights to what the project health looks like. Heard me say it, but mobile accessibility, they have a great mobile app. They focus a lot on making this intuitive. The user interface feels simple, not overwhelming. In project management softwares, that's something that can exponentially get harder. And I think they do an intentional job of really streamlining what that user experience looks like. And then finally, one of my favorite features they have is a client portal. So if you're working with other investors that you're running the project with, if you're working with other stakeholders, they have a client portal that they can log in that you can show updates for. That's project timelines, any documents, photos with your clients that might be pertinent, and engage with any of the project lifestyles for a back and forth or comments as things are going on. Next one we'll talk a little about is Procore. Procore is another cloud-based construction management software, also designed for real estate industry. This one focuses more on the collaboration and communication piece. It does also provide a pretty comprehensive real estate investor management portal. It's really effective if you're trying to ensure timelines, cost control, and quality insurance. They do a lot of the same things that we saw for Co-Construct. It's a centralized place to manage software, great real-time collaboration. They also do a customizable dashboard. Something that they focus a lot on is the document management and storage of that. They do a lot to ensure the security of your document management if there's, sensitive information you might want to put on there. But another great alternative from a cost perspective as well. They tend to be a little bit cheaper than Co-Construct is. A few other popular ones I'll call out that are in the industry. Build Trends is another one, a lot of overlap with the other two. It does project management, document sharing, financial tracking, but it's actually really known to be user-friendly and mobile accessible. They put a lot of time into their user interface and to make it as simple as possible. Buildium is another cloud-based management software. A lot of the same overlapping features. They do a lot towards the rental side of things as well. So they have some tenants management features inside there, as well as some financial stuff. It's a little more robust than the other ones. Appfolio is also great. Nothing I would say that's too real estate specific for what investment needs are, but they do have features for rental properties. And they're well suited for like larger portfolios. So, if you have 10 plus properties, Appfolio might be a really great solution. Tenant Cloud is a great one for rentals. They help streamline things like tenant communication, collect rent through their platform. You can manage the maintenance requests that come on there. And they offer a suite of tools that's for like screening tenants, generating rental agreements, really helping you with some of the paperwork and the financial part of the rental side of things. HappyCo. They're really an interesting platform. They actually let you do inspection checklists. You can take photos, you can generate reports. And so as you're looking through properties and you're getting to the point that you're trying to make sure the inspection part of it's going well, they're a great tool to have in your tool belt from that side of things. Then lastly, Real Matters. They're a real estate company that provides a full suite of tools for investors, property evaluation, title insurance, closing services. You know, they're a really good complement to some of the other tools out there. And they really do help streamline, especially the closing process. And they help reduce a lot of those closing costs by exposing some of the finances that might be happening there. So as you can see, there's a lot of different tools out there. Some have overlap, some really specialize in different parts of the business. I encourage you to look through these, play around them, find some that make sense for you, and understand your business and see where the value add could eventually be. The next pillar we'll talk about is the financial tracking and reporting. We want to gain clarity for our informed investment decisions. You know, this can be crucial as we think about our real estate investments because it can help us provide the financial insight that we really need to make these informed decisions. We can optimize our investment strategy and really ultimately maximize our returns and profits. So why is this so important to us? Well, I said it before, but time and money. The more that we can automate these types of things and use tools to track things automatically, and we aren't spending time in the busy work, the more time we can focus on our business. This helps us make better financial decisions. When we have something that helps expose places that we could optimize ourselves or extraneous costs in there, and really understanding even our tax benefit side of things, this is going to help us make better financial decisions, which again, will ultimately affect our bottom line and profit margin. Staying organized for taxes. Taxes, as I don't need to tell you, can be very complicated as we're doing our real estate investments. And having something that understands what that looks like for real estate investors and is suited for what the financials of real estate investing looks like can really be a great tool in our tool belt and ultimately save us tons of time on the back end. Then finally, just understanding how to stay organized and compliant. As we're using some of these tools to track our finances, they're going to gear a lot of their features towards the laws around our taxes and towards understanding for our investments for real estate. So finding the right one that works for your business is important. So what again are some key features when thinking about these financial tools? We'll start with we want to be able to track our property expenses. Pretty simple, but anything that comes in, we want to be able to categorize, understand where it's going for, and be able to put it towards the right budget. Income tracking. As we think about things like rental income, this is going to be an essential part of our cash flow, help with forecasting, and then understanding our future income. Mileage tracking. This is one of my favorite ones. A lot of what we do as real estate investors can be deductions, and mileage tracking is no different. There's a few of the apps out there that actually will do this automatically for you as you're driving around. As you get back into the software, they'll actually help you look at what that mileage looks like and categorize it properly for your taxes. Expense categorization, just as we're pulling in new tracking events, we want to make sure we can categorize them correctly. Tax preparation, this is a huge one. I talked a lot about it in some of the other features, but as we start to look at the finances here, understanding how everything we're doing from the categorization standpoint, from the tracking standpoint, pulls back into what our taxes look like, and then ultimately helping getting some of that paperwork together for the tax preparation. Bank account syncing. Most have it these days, but we want to make sure that we're able to directly tie into our bank account. The ease of use in doing this when we're tracking our expenses and categorizing things makes things very streamlined. And then finally, investment reporting. We can understand more about where the money is going, looking at it through the real estate investment lens, and eventually having reports on what that looks like will help us look at what our financial runway is and ultimately help better decisions as we're making our financials. Hurdler. Hurdler is an all-in-one expense tracking, tax preparation tool designed specifically for self-employed individuals and small businesses. They also have a lot of great real estate investor-specific features. You can track property expenses in here. So something that's interesting that they have set up is you can categorize these into different properties or projects that you're working with. It also helps track rental income and property depreciation. As you're looking at those properties, you can start doing information about them, both from the rental side of thing and then better understanding what the depreciation of that asset might look like when it comes to tax time. They do a capital gains tracker as well. This is, again, important for us as we're selling properties and coming back for that tax at the end of the year. Talked about it before, but something I love about Hurdler is their mileage and tracking deduction for taxes. This will work with you as you're just driving around looking at properties and doing your business, but ultimately help as you're getting ready to the tax preparation by bringing that information back. And then they have some great reporting. They have a real-time profitability insights report that I like inside there. As you're looking at some of the places you've spent money and where the income's looking, it'll help break that down in a really easy to read way. Stressa. Stressa is another cloud-based financial platform. This one's really designed specifically for real estate and real estate investors, particularly those doing more like rent and hold models and BRRRR. It simplifies and automates financial tracking, reporting, and enables investors to get a clear insight of the portfolio and financial platform. Automates an income and expense tracking. So a lot of what we do when we hook up our bank account, we'll do a lot of that automation for us for the expense categorization. They have a great set of financial reporting that is really geared towards real estate investing, talks a lot about profits and losses, cash flow statements, balance sheets, rental and property tax reports, and really gives a nice holistic view on what the financial performance of the property might be. They do a great job of tax preparation, and they're great with portfolio performance monitoring. So especially in that rental side of things, as you think about the market changing or tenants coming in and out, they'll do a lot to track that and then bring that back to reporting. And again, they have a great mobile app. They spend a lot of time making sure this is a mobile-friendly software, and it really shows as you start to play around with the application. Expensify. One of the bigger players out there. Expensify is a very great app. It's robust. It's got a ton of features. Less for specific real estate, although it does have some nice features in there. It does automated expense capturing, so it starts to learn as you categorize things and also lets you upload things like receipts directly into the app. What's interesting about Expensify is you can do workflow approvals. So if you're working with a bigger team, if you have a bigger portfolio and people are putting in requests, you can actually have an approval mechanism for some of the expenses that come in there. The customizations, I think, is probably one of the biggest things about this app that makes it powerful and also overwhelming at times. If you're looking to really dial in how your workflow looks from a financial aspect, this could be a great tool. You can set up things like reimbursement schedules, expense reporting, and even send it out to some of your teams and organization. But a lot of this requires some initial setup, so there is some time invested upfront to get this to work. It's a pretty detail-oriented expense report. Again, lots of features, lots to unpack there. And if you can spend the time to dial it in, it could be great to work with you. The other thing that's nice about it is it integrates with a lot of other accounting software. So if you're someone who uses QuickBooks or Xero and a lot of other major ones, it integrates directly with them. So there's a lot of synergy as you get those reports coming back and forth. There's a few other ones I'll call out here quickly. QuickBooks is a really popular accounting software, and it can be great for real estate investors too. Just take some time to dial it into exactly what your business looks like. Offers a lot of features for income tracking, generating invoices, reconciling bank statements, and things like that. I think QuickBooks can often be a part of that financial stack outside of maybe some of the more real estate specific focused ones, but also a great tool to have in your belt. Xero, very similar to QuickBooks. They have a user-friendly interface and a pretty great mobile app, I would say as well. Landlord Studio. This allows us to track rent payments, manage expenses, generate detailed financial reporting for rental properties, and has a great user-friendly, mobile-friendly first product as well. It's a pretty conventional tool and popular along landlords and people doing rental properties. Property Matrix. This one's great if you're looking to get like robust financial reporting. They do a lot with income expense, cash flow tracking, and things like that. A lot of options there, really heavy on the reporting side of thing, but definitely holds a lot of value if that's important to your business. Rent Manager. This allows us to track rent payments, manage expenses, generate financial reports, really a roar around rental properties. A great one if you're looking for a simplified version for the rental properties. They don't do as much as something like Landlord Studio does, but very streamlined, very easy to use, and they also have a good mobile app. Yardi Breeze. This is a great one for financial tracking. This does good with income, cash flow, a lot of the same expense stuff. They also have a pretty good reporting software. You know, I would say something that's nice about them is they're a good budget option if you're trying to find something that's low on the cheap side of things. So yeah, as you can see, there's a lot of really great options as we think about this financial tracking side of things and, you know, how we can optimize understanding what the finances of our business looks like. That was it. So I hope this gave you some insight into what that productivity stack for real estate investments might look like. As you can see, there's a huge landscape of tools out there right now. And I really only scratched the surface. You know, what I'm hoping today is you can take away some ideas on how to think about that productivity stack. Maybe we called out some tools that might be useful for you, but hopefully it helps you take a deeper dive to understand more about why that productivity stack can be important to you. And ultimately, how you can save time and money on your business. That's the real goal of this, is what can we do to optimize our output, to make things more efficient. And we're living in an age right now where so much we can do around finding the right tools, automating portions of our business. It's all about understanding what's out there, figuring out how they can work for you, and tailoring them for your experience. So thank you guys for taking the time to chat with me today. I hope you took a little bit out of this and take this back to yourselves and really try to figure out, you know, what's the best productivity stack for you and your business. I'll open it up for any questions you guys might have. You know, happy to stick around and talk through any of the tech stuff that might be interesting to you.
Awesome. Thank you so much, Tyler. That was really great. I know I was like scratching down some of the names of a lot of those just for my everyday life too. So helpful on all fronts for anybody. We do have a couple questions from let's see. So we have one, you mentioned the wholesaling app. Does Backflip have any features that help you work with wholesalers?
Yeah, great question. We do have some features to help you work with wholesalers. Right now, we're in beta for a very interesting feature called My Leads. You know, a lot of what we do as real estate investors when we're trying to source properties happens within our email accounts. We're working with wholesalers that send us inventory. Maybe we're working with auction sites like auction.com. And the way we think about it is we want to leverage those relationships you're already making and use the Backflip app to pull them in there. And so the concept of My Leads really revolves around that. What we're able to do is we're able to sync with your Gmail account and identify property leads that are sent to you. And once we start to see these properties that are sent to you, we can passively start pulling those inside the app. So you might get up in the morning and have 10 properties that were sent to you from wholesalers, from MLS emails you signed up to, from auction sites. And without having to go back to your computer, open your spreadsheet, you know, punch in the numbers of what that analysis might look like, now you can just open up your Backflip app. We'll have already pulled them inside the app. We'll assess what those property deals might look like. And you're then able to go into those analyses, take a deeper dive in some of the numbers, adjust things accordingly, and within a few clicks, understand more about that listing, and ultimately if that's going to be a good deal for you. So this is something we've been testing in beta for the last couple of months. We've made a lot of great improvements and headway on this product. We're rolling it out before the end of the year for a general release. Keep an eye out for it. We're really excited about this one. I think it's going to hold a lot of value for the customers and really just starting to scratch the surface on how we can start thinking about putting real estate investments and those inventory that's out there together inside the Backflip experience.
Yeah, My Leads is super exciting. It's going to be a game changer if you have the Backflip app. So make sure that you have that on your phone and ready to rock and roll with My Leads by the end of the year. Another question, can you explain the driving for dollars feature on the app? how exactly does it work?
Yeah, absolutely. This is one of our cooler pieces of technology that we've able to build on there. What folks do a lot is look for these listings just by driving around, and we want to help facilitate inside the application for how you can assess those properties quickly. When you're driving around, you can enable our driving for dollars feature. This will make use of your phone's camera, and we have some pretty cool pieces of technology that actually power this. So to start with, we have a machine learning algorithm that looks at the images coming back and tries to identify if we're looking at a home. Once I've identified that property, we do some reverse geolocation. We find that property record. Oftentimes this can be some public record information we find there. And we quickly start to do a deal assessment on there. So we'll give you quick numbers on what that potential ARV for that listing could be. If that's an interesting property to you, users have the ability to click on the number. It will open up the full analysis, where just like any other backflip properties you've assessed, you can now start adjusting things like the comps, understanding some of the financials inside there, all from the click of your phone. The concept here is we really wanted to meet folks as they were doing those driving for dollars experiences or going around neighborhoods and get them information as quickly as possible. This can be valuable as you're assessing, should I go to the door? Is this going to make sense for me at the end of the day, a financial aspect, and start to track some of those properties that you find as you're around driving for dollars. So we're only in the first stages of what we see as a value add for how we can start facilitating more of those driving for dollars features. And so what we have today is a pretty exciting, and you'll see us expand on that as time goes on.
Awesome question. In your opinion, what is the biggest way AI is changing real estate and real estate investing?
Yeah, that's a great question. AI is such a hot topic right now, and certainly something that, from a machine learning and an artificial intelligence standpoint, we think a lot about here at Backflip. And every company's doing it. Something that AI is great at is assessing the large amounts of data. And there's no better place to think about large amounts of data than real estate investing. And a lot of what we do and think about at Backflip when we think about AI is how could we leverage the data that our users are putting out there to understand the analysis of these property deals and assess this data in a quick fashion. And I think what we're seeing as a whole in real estate right now is the ability to get more consolidated numbers and inventory to people quicker. As an example, what we're doing on the My Lead side of things is we're looking at those as deals inside there. We're going to be able to quickly identify ones that will fit like our users' buy box and put those information in front of them quicker. More holistically from a real estate standpoint, what this is really starting to accelerate with artificial intelligence is the tool sets that we have. So when some of the things that we were talking about earlier, like rental property income, market access, understanding what property values are, we're going to be able to do this a lot quicker as we start getting information to our artificial intelligence models, and they can start quickly coming up with assessments on how market prices are going to rise or what home values might look like in the future by taking in these large sets of data and looking at them more holistically across the market and across properties themselves.
Awesome. Yeah, AI is totally changing the game. Backflip, we're just on the precipice of keeping up with everything that's happening. So really exciting. I think it's a really exciting time to be in real estate.
Yeah, it very much is. It very much is.
Somebody also asked earlier if this session will be recorded. It is recorded, and we will be sending it in a follow-up afterwards. So you don't have to worry if you missed anything. You will have all of Tyler's awesome information at your fingertips whenever you need it. And I think that is all of the questions that we got. If anybody has any other questions, please feel free to reach out to us at the email down here on the slide, membersuccess@dobackflip.com. We're always more than happy to answer any questions you have and get you in contact with the right person who can answer your questions. Thank you so much for being on with us today. Thank you, Tyler, again, for taking time to walk us through all of these awesome apps and potentials for streamlining all of our processes. It's been so valuable, and I know we all really appreciate this insight that you gave. Hopefully we will and maybe in a couple months have even more that we can share and kind of give like an update. But for now, I think that this is an awesome place to end. And thank you everybody for being on with us. And we will see you all really soon.
Thanks, everyone. Thanks, Sarah.
Bye.